Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sherwin and today I'll be talking about 99.1. So recently there has been a big hoo-ha where IRAS is trying to claw back ABSD, those transactions that they deem are tax avoidance. So a few years back, 99.1 is rather popular. Some law firms do it, some don't, because of the grayness in the area. So let me break it down to you why 99.1 is illegal and why people still do it. So for obvious reason, people do 99.1 obviously is to avoid our ABSD. So as you can see from the charts, right, our ABSD is actually quite substantial. If you are a Singaporean citizen buying a second property, it used to be 17%, but ever since 27 April 2023, there's increased to 20%, and if you are buying a third and subsequent property, it will be 30%. So the whole purpose of 99.1 is to structure their property purchase in such a way that they pay the most minimal ABSD for their transaction. Using a $1 million property as an example, if you're doing 99.1 in a correct manner, this is how it will look like. So let's say you have a $1 million property. You have owner A and owner B. Owner A has no property under their name, whereas for owner B, he already owns a single property. So in the event if they go in and buy under 99% and 1%, right, they would have to pay ABSD based on the higher of amount. So in this case, ABSD payable, because it's a second property, it will be 20% on top of the normal buyer stamp duty. So the 20% will amount to 200,000. But if they were to do the 99.1 in a tax avoidance way, right, A would purchase the property 100% under their name first, and subsequently after the option is issued and exercised, A will sell 1% of the shares to B. In such a manner, right, B is actually paying for just 1% of the ABSD, and if we take 1% of $10,000, 20%, they are just paying like $2,000 worth of ABSD. So if you look at the difference here, right, our government is actually collecting 198,000 lesser, which in the eyes of law, they treat this as tax avoidance. And that is why they are very actively looking at all the past year transaction, whether they deem this as a tax avoidance case or not, based on case-by-case basis. Of course, just a thing to note, this is not a criminal offense. It's very different from tax evasion. So you will only be penalized, but it's not a criminal activity. The penalty for this is our government do have the power to claim back the full ABSD amount deemed payable, and on top of that, 50% of the ABSD amount as well. So if it's a $1 million property and you avoided the 200,000 ABSD, right, you are liable to pay 200,000 and an additional of 100,000. So by evading like 200,000 of tax, right, you get yourself into trouble and you have to pay 300,000 in the future. So there are quite a few sad news where consumers don't know what they are getting into, or not properly advised by be it agents or law firms, and they get into deep shit for this. So whenever you are entering into such an arrangement to purchase a property, right, always be careful to consult the right people and ensure that it's the right thing to do, because our government is not stupid. At the end of the day, it will still come back and haunt you or bite you, and the penalty is actually quite hefty. So for me, all in all, I would just avoid all these. I'd rather it be simple, pay whatever that is needed to be paid to the government, and we move on. Okay, then again, what is a legal 99.1 arrangement? Okay? If you properly declare to our government right from the start, right, let's say you have same party, A and B, and B is currently already have an ownership of one property, straight away you enter into a 99% purchase and a 1% purchase. So you declare upfront and you pay the relevant ABSD of 200,000. this is legal, and it will be under tenancy in common, TIC. Okay, why some people do that is because they are co-investing in the property, and based on the amount they invest, this will be the ratio lah. So it can be like 70-30 or 60-40. Whatever the ownership amount doesn't matter. What matters to the government is the ABSD is being paid and they are received in our government pocket. So the thing to note under section 33A of our law, right, it states that the illegal 99-1 arrangement is considered two transactions, where one party purchase 100% first and subsequently sell 1% to the other party. Then what happens is IRAS can disregard the individual transaction and treat them as one joint single purchase if they suspect tax avoidance. So it overrides whatever loophole that you are trying to play around with. So at the end of the day, be careful with your purchase and know what you are doing. Check with all angles and make sure that you are well covered so that it does not come back to bite you. So that's it for the topic of 99.1. If you are looking for someone to talk about structuring your home purchase, whether it's legal or not, feel free to drop me a text, DM me, and we can have a chat over coffee.